I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning. Our first order of business is the consent agenda.
Move to approve, Madam Chair. Second.
To approve the consent agenda is listed. Any discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Brian, a little ahead, but this is here, Public Works Department, Brian Edwards, review and consider vacation of public road easements along Castle Rock Road.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This will be a little bit, it's not too long, but I'll just try to go over some things that are in the resolution because I think they cover all the bases. So this has to do with vacation of public road easements along Castle Rock Road. So I'll just kind of go through things, and it has a little bit of a history for those that don't know, and I think everybody's been involved for quite a while. So just for the record, I'll go through this. So Chapter 3 of Title 24 of the Wyoming State Statutes outlines specific requirements for the established vacation alteration of county roadways. By the Board of County Commissioners, Park County are responsible for overseeing and administering the county road system within the jurisdictional boundaries of Park County. Whereas Park County road easements were granted, or public road easements were granted to Park County in the late 1980s and early 1990s by various private landowners to Park County for the purpose of connecting a public road between County Road 6NS and County Road 6WX, which is the South Fork Road, along portions of Castle Rock Road and Road 6JM, which was recently vacated by the Board of County Commissioners. Whereas said public road was never constructed nor established by Park County, although Castle Rock Road existed as a private gravel surface road before the referenced public road easements were granted by the landowners to Park County. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners met on September 8, 2020, during that meeting, the Board of County Commissioners discussed public road easements along Castle Rock Road between State Land Tract 53 and County Road 6NS. The Board of County Commissioners, in accordance with Wyoming State Statute 24-3101A, deemed it to be in the public interest to initiate proceedings to vacate said public road easements dedicated to Park County, Wyoming. Whereas Board of County Commissioners passed resolution number 2020-59 dated September 8, 2020. Signed by Commissioners Tilden, Overfield, Livingston, Steele, and Fulkerson. Said resolution authorized staff to initiate the vacation proceedings, and myself was assigned as viewer with responsibilities outlined in State Statute 24-3103-107. An open viewer was signed by myself September 16, 2021. Our viewer's report was prepared by myself, and the findings related to the vacation of public road easements dated December 15, 2020 was presented to the Board of County Commissioners at their regular meeting. The Commissioners moved to accept the viewer's report as a matter of public record. The Board of County Commissioners met on September 21st, 2021. After much discussion and several years of procedural deliberation, Commissioner Tilden made a motion to vacate that portion of County Road 54, a public road across Hawks Hill Ranch, State Land 53, and the TE Ranch, and all of County Road 54B and Road 6JM. Commissioner Overfield seconded, and the motion carried. With the termination of the plan to develop a public loop road connecting County Road 6NS to the South Fork Road along Castle Rock Road and Road 6JM, and with the recent vacation by the Board of County Commissioners of portions of Road 54 and all of Road 54B and Road 6JM, the public road easements along Castle Rock Road are no longer needed nor necessary. And whereby the board here finds that proper notice of such vacation has been published and distributed via certified mail, that objects to the vacation of claims to damages have been filed with the county clerk, matters have been properly disposed of, and that said road is without benefit to the public. So before I go any further, so with that public notice, we did receive an email that was stated as an objection, but it was from one landowner that lived along Castle Rock Road, which was the attorney for Apted, Julia Bugari, Bergari. And we've had some back and forth discussions with our county attorney. And once we clarified and showed that that their particular property that they recently acquired had previous access via private easement, and in addition, access being reserved as part of this resolution, they were satisfied and notified us as such. I also had there wasn't a written one, but Ted Lales, Ted and Kathy, verbally, he called me about, just making sure that there were no issues or concerns of cutting off their access with the vacation. I exchanged email and let them look at the draft resolution, and they also are satisfied with it. So as far as I'm aware, there are no pending objections or concerns or claims for damages. So I guess based on all of those happenings, the Board of County Commissioners have complied with the applicable provisions of State Statute 24-301 for the purpose of vacating public road easements along Castle Rock Road. So what is being resolved here, I guess, in the draft resolution is that a 60-foot wide, so public road easement would be vacated, will be declared vacated subject to the following provisions. A 60-foot wide private access utility easement centered on Castle Rock Road is hereby reserved for landowners, including heirs, successors, and assigns that currently rely on Castle Rock Road for ingress and egress to their respective private property. And I'll just list the names here. Castle Rock Ranch LLC. There are multiple properties for Hawks Hill Ranch LLC. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different property tracts. Ted and Kathy Lales, Silver Bear Ranch LLC, Apted and Julia Bugari, Linda L. Jackson, Benjamin Civic, which he's got 3 different tracts, and it's Benjamin Civic 84 Trust, and then Tony R. Those are the properties that are listed that rely on Castle Rock Road for access. Access is also reserved within the same 60-foot access for emergency service vehicles, Castle Rock Ditch Company personnel, and utility service providers who service the above listed properties and associated facilities. Existing utility service providers are hereby granted the right to install, replace, service, and maintain existing utilities within a 60-foot access. This vacation and associated access to utilities reservation shall not alter or hinder existing private easements between landowners that are a matter of record on file with Park County Clerk. Maintenance and improvements of Castle Rock Road shall not be the responsibility of Park County. And said reservation shall carry with the above described land parcels and shall survive the current landowners, their heirs, successors, and assigns. So that's pretty much the body of the resolution. Any questions or what we're trying to do?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second.
Madam Chairman, if I would, I just want to thank Brian and his staff and also Mr. Webster over there. This has been a long drawn out process. So I thank everybody involved for all of that. Brian, you and your guys done a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
We have a motion and a second to review the resolution as presented. Any further discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yeah.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to thank Joe Tilden, all of you, Lee, who have worked so hard to get this resolved. It's been a long, drawn out thing.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, for the record, that will be 2022-05.
We've got a few minutes, Brian.
Thank you.
Have a great day, Ed. Yeah. I'll send you a copy of the report with all this. I think you guys ready for TA, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
I know this gets deeper and deeper.
Well, I know, I don't have a box anymore. I'm gonna have to get two trash cans.
You have a box?
Yeah, I love a box.
Okay, we have some bigger boxes now.
Everyone.
And then put your shoe in with dumpster. and that's below. Laundry chute.
We could, because the dumpster's right there.
Put a shoot out there.
Yeah. Okay, would the engineer please work on that?
My spot here is beginning to look like Mr. French when he was here.
No, it's not high enough yet.
I
can
mean,
still see
he
that.
had stuff from, how many years was he commissioner? I think he had stuff back, file back there from year one.
Who's that?
Tim.
Tim?
I can still see it. It's not quite good yet.
Was it good? Good. Not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up and coming leadership. I don't have a lot of time on one side of this or the other, just because the next thing is a public hearing, it can't happen until 10:15. Go ahead, Brian. So this is opening bids for the foul landfill waste scale replacement project.
Thanks, Madam Chair. So as we've talked about in the past, we've had quite a few problems with our scale system out at the town landfill. Bottom line is the foundation's failing, so we'll need to replace the foundation and reset the scale deck on that foundation. We did this back last fall, and only received one bid. We thought that the bid at the time might be a little bit on the high side, so we recommended that we wait and rebid it. So we re-advertised in the local papers, and then we also kind of reached out to outside sources. We had some interest. I think for the size of the project, it's difficult to get anybody from outside to come in for that size of the project. Bottom line, like I said, I know that the guys from EA found the bushes and tried to do the best to get the word out there. We received one bid, and it's the same submittal that we received last time. So we'll open it up, see if
Right, who was that?
oh, the bid, I'm sorry, is from Two Sisters Contracting out of Cody.
Thank you.
Just what I did. Okay. It's been a bid bond. see how this is doing. Okay, the bid as submitted, $125,362.26. You know, I think I don't know if I remember the engineer's estimate, we thought would be in that $80,000 to $100,000 range. I think with the economy and supply chain issues, competition, labor shortages and whatnot, I think we're seeing just prices on everything's higher. I think we still probably have to go back and look at all this, make sure everything's not there. We vetted the contractor last time, and I know they're qualified. But we'll go back and look at this paperwork and maybe come back first of February, if that's okay, and make a recommendation there. As far as the price, I think we're probably in line with what we're going to pay. And it is something we need to do.
Yeah, there is. We got a little time. And how much are you guys figuring on doing some of the prep when you submitted that bid? Submitted that extra request for bid?
We're bringing in all the materials from bridge, so we're hauling the transport by in place. There will have to be a crane and move so everything that's bid out is pretty much has to be done by contract. They're just doing
I'm trying to look at ways to save it.
Yeah. Now we're supplying all of the earthwork and bringing it all in, all the materials. I don't know what else we can do.
But they'll do, repair the concrete and scale.
Get
Load cells and wiring.
Load cells, move the, so they're also moving the scale house closer, reworking utilities for that.
And the plan still is to do it just on the opposite side of the current scale house or.
Yes, to the, I guess, the south side of it, so just moving it south, the whole thing just
So
shows.
that's all.
I think that's the best move.
Landfill budget.
Yes. And so budget is. pretty good.
And I can say one thing, the engineer's estimate on this was $120,000 this time.
Oh, was it went up? Okay, and prices have gone up, so that's good for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Have a good day.
So we have the Molly schedule, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So we got a break before or?
We do, our next item is a public hearing on the sketch plan, and it's not really time.
New chairman, the agenda just gone to hell in a handbasket.
There will be no slack all year. I'll be all right.
I was trying to find the bottom of the desk, and I got all kinds of time. Laminate under
Then we
it.
have a break at- then we have a break at 10:30 too, right?
I'll go find your box. Oh, let's see here.
This is a new one that Mike's done.
That's a renewal. Okay, good.
Or-
Yeah. I don't know if you wanna start this or not. So everything here has been approved so far.
Okay.
And 2 for the chairman.
Was this on consent or did, okay.
know if you caught that discussion, when we come down the stairs, maybe if you want to give some of the commissioners over in Bighorn County a personal call. Felix has indicated he's not showing up.
Dave's coming.
Pardon?
Dave is
Oh,
coming.
Dave is okay. All right.
He emailed, yeah,
Okay,
just.
gotcha. All right. We get one figured out.
Yeah.
Just bring a peanut butter, loaf
Bring
of
your
bread, bring a loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter.
Anybody?
Works for me. I now might be there, so. I'm serious, we're supposed to chase this damn buffalo.
Somebody got one this week. Oh, it was over in TTO. First, yeah, it was over. Must have been Sam's.
Oh, yeah. Where they are right now, is down there.
Been back lately?
No, we haven't been. I've been to Dallas, I've been to Reno. The last 2 weeks.
Shows?
Did you see, you know Jeff Ritter?
Yeah.
Did you see
Oh,
him
yeah.
down there?
Yeah, we visited for quite a while.
Did you say you don't do the booths at the shows? You just go to go?
Well, the show in Reno, I get paid, I'm
Is
hired.
that the sheep show?
Sheep show, I'm hired to go work that show as an auctioneer. This is wrong here. This has got Blake Deal as vice chairman.
Uh-oh.
So you might have Scott's,
Okay.
you just scratch that, I'll just scratch that out.
Right at below.
Scott is vice chair.
This one still has his check.
At least that signature. That one is easy.
It says he was chairman on the December 21st minutes.
And I'll live there, yeah. No, Blake Deal is not the chairman, you're the chairman. You just scratched out vice. Unless you're trying to give it up this way.
Yes.
Just have him redo, let's have that back.
Brian redo them.
Redo the signature page on this.
Back in a little
I
bit.
just ran into Attorney Story, and he's wondering if we can amend the budget to have this taken care of today.
No.
Amend the agenda.
Agenda,
If we
sorry.
could, it's just that thing
We were
came up
talking
and
budget, sorry.
Yeah, you can
it's
have
not
that.
something that's been
Sure.
hanging out there. We just did it this morning. So,
Okay. All right, we'll do.
all right, thank you.
We're
Hey,
gonna.
Brian, while I got you, do you have any idea when you may want to do a little field trip?
Oh.
Holler at me, what's your agenda looking like? Holler at me, what's good for you?
Oh, did you ask Brian to read them?
He'll be back in a little bit. But
Molly, are you together? You understand?
I'll sign those in a minute. For
Yes.
the commissioners, we are gonna come back.
Okay, wait a second.
here.
I have to get over here and turn back on. Let me record here.
We've had a request to amend our agenda, and I'd like to go ahead and add that in right now. It is a resolution from our county attorney concerning special prosecution. If you all just read through it. Our county prosecuting attorney has declared a conflict of interest in the matter of CR 2022-0011. Any questions or concerns?
Are you asking for a motion to approve that resolution or approve it?
We approve the amended agenda.
Madam Chair, I make the motion to approve the agenda to add that item.
Second.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and now,
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the resolution.
so moved and seconded to approve the resolution concerning special prosecution. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you.
Number 6.
Morning, Joy.
It has 2021.
Morning, Patty.
Good morning. How are you?
It's 22, it can't be a 24 resolution.
2022-06.
So,
Just run one line through it.
it's
2022. 06.
Oh, Patty, you gonna do this one all by yourself?
She's doing this one, but I'm doing the next two.
Oh,
Yes. Jen will be with me as my support.
I'll be sure and have a lot of questions.
You do that. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll just direct them to Jen. Like I usually do Kim.
Try to stick around over there.
There you go.
Can I borrow that?
You can have it. I never use it. I've
Oh, I
never
guess,
used it.
okay, well, it's in this drawer if you need.
I just use it tonight.
My house looks so nice and big. It looked about that way for about 2 weeks. It's been on the street. It's not so bad.
Oh, yeah, you got the desk, but
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff.
no,
Still.
Tim had the drawer removed on that desk and kept banging his knees.
There you go, boy.
Blinded. Oh, it's that one. I think that's good. Yeah, thank you.
We're being building in grounds
Okay, with that, we're up with our county planning and zoning, public hearing for TriStar Cabins SUP 221.
This is Emerald.
Emerald,
Yep,
sorry,
Emerald.
Emerald.
I was there too.
Emerald minor subdivision 62, it is minor, right? Sketch plan, sorry.
So Joyville, I'm here in Ken Millen's absence today. I got Patty Arnold with me. We have received a minor subdivision application on October 8th of 2021 for Nathan and Brittany Robertson. We also received their sketch plan on November 2nd of 2021. The applicants are requesting approval of a 3-lot subdivision consisting of one 3.71 acre lot and two 2-acre lots, all of which are for residential use. The regulations that apply are the Park County, Wyoming 2015 Development Standards and Regulations. This subdivision is classified as a minor, less than 5 lots, each lot being smaller than 5 acres. Ownership is affirmed by warranty deed 2020-3015 to Nathan Robertson and Brittany Robertson. This parcel of land is within tract 98-10 of lot 98, township 55 north, range 100 west, 6 p.m., Park County, Wyoming. You'll see in figure 1 a copy of the sketch plan, which identifies the lots that are proposed and the layout. This particular subdivision is located approximately 0.83 miles northeast of Ralston and 0.2 miles north at the intersection of Highway 14 and County Road 14. It is east of County Road 14, and as you know, we have Cornerstone minor subdivision in progress immediately south of this subdivision. The residence on lot 3 has an address of 1099 County Road 14. Like I said, there's an existing residence on lot 3 with that address. Proposed lots 1 and 2 are vacant, irrigated cropland. And figure 3 shows the parcel topography. There's not a lot of elevation change on this lot. Neighboring land uses are primarily ag. However, we're going to be seeing more residential development to the south of Cornerstone. We do have some residential development nearby and residential vacant land as well. There are some special uses nearby. We've got a large rock products mine and a special events permit for Clark Mule Days there in Ralston. This subdivision is a GRP zoning district, and the lot size is proposed consistent with that zoning district. This property is not within a mile of the municipality, therefore municipal review is not required. Notices have been fulfilled per our rules. Notice of intent to subdivide was published on September 30th of 2021 and October 5th, 2021 in the Powell Tribune. And notice was published for this hearing on December 28th of 2021 and January 11th, 2022. Notice was at least 14 days before the hearing as required. We also notified landowners within 660 feet of the property boundary on December 22nd, 2021 by certified mail. We have notified a number of relevant agencies on October 26th of 2021. Some of these were also notified directly by the applicant. Park County School District 1 says that the proposed subdivision is in their boundary and they will have bus stops to all access points onto the county road. TCT stated they have terrestrial wireless service available to serve this area, may be able to provide internet and voice over IP phone to this location, depending on line of sight to their towers. Park County Fire District 1 can provide fire protection to this location, provided any and all accesses are constructed to accommodate their fire equipment. The Postal Service said that they can deliver mail for the new addresses, and the placement of mailboxes will be determined when the new residences are ready for mail delivery. Weed and Pest has responded. They did an initial inspection. They did find the presence of noxious weeds and required a long-term noxious weed management plan, which has been submitted on December 17th, 2021. Public Works has responded quite a few times on this subdivision. Ultimately, they stated that accesses will be coming off of County Road 14. Lots 1 and 2 will be required to secure right-of-way permits for the new accesses and mailbox locations related to the county road. They did indicate that a runoff and erosion control plan is not required at this time. The Park County Treasurer has stated that taxes are current on this property. Shoshone Irrigation District responded. They did require a water distribution plan. They also indicated that sprinkler irrigation will be required. They said if the lots are not sold, they do not have to be watered. Each lot owner is responsible for their own irrigation infrastructure. They did mention that because Cornerstone subdivision is going to be immediately to the south, that they are going to have to share a water association between the two subdivisions. This is kind of a new thing for them. And so at this point, it is up to those subdividing landowners to determine who the water master will be. to take care of that distribution of water to all the subdivision lots on both sides. What is not clear right now is whether the irrigation system for the subdivision is going to require a subdivision improvements agreement. Per our regulation, any proposed irrigation system to serve a subdivision is a required improvement, and as such should be addressed in subdivision improvements agreement. It's just not clear if the shared irrigation facilities are in fact going to be a single system that will require all the lot owners to sort of join in to keep it maintained. So we need to determine that before we get to the subdivision improvements agreement. Black Hills Energy can provide gas to all of these lots. Lot 3 currently has natural gas service and it is available along County Road 14. Game and Fish has no major concerns other than they are concerned with the number of subdivisions in Park County generally. Powell Clarksville Conservation District provided a soils report. There's one type of soil on this property. It has a rating not limited for dwellings with or without basements and is not limited for septic tank absorption fields. Rocky Mountain Power is able to provide service to this subdivision. No public comments have been received. A pre-application meeting occurred on July 12, 2021. The fee was paid for the application. We do have a title report. No roads are proposed for this subdivision as they're coming directly off the county road. There's solid waste disposal available for these properties, fire protections available. We do need to have power brought to the lots 1 and 2. And there are no known hazards on this property. We have a sketch plan to review, it's complete. We get down to wastewater. Subsurface evaluation was completed on lot 1 in October of 2021, and subsurface evaluation was done on proposed lot 3 in 2020. Both of those percolation tests reveal that conventional septic systems should likely be sufficient should the subdivision be approved and septic systems proposed. Domestic water, the applicants are proposing wells on the properties. They did do a water quality test on a nearby well. It does meet the Safe Drinking Water Act requirements for bacteria. No E. coli or coliform were detected. Nitrogen, lead, or arsenic were also not detected. TDS, total dissolved solids, were very high, almost double the maximum over double the maximum contaminant level of 500. But TDS is a secondary drinking water standard, so it may cause their water to appear cloudy. People can treat their water for that particular quality aesthetic problem. Chloride, sulfate, iron, zinc, and fluoride were detected. However, they're below maximum levels. Sodium was detected to a range where it could be detected by sodium sensitive individuals. Again, water to be treated if people don't like the taste. I would like to note that at the Planning and Zoning Commission's hearing for this subdivision, the applicant disclosed that 2 wells have been drilled on the property. There's a well on lot 1 that was drilled to 80 feet and did not produce water. So they drilled a second well on proposed lot 3 to a depth of 100 feet. The second well is producing at 22 gallons per minute, but production seems to decrease in early spring. Based upon this information, it is unclear whether on-site wells will be sufficient to serve the lots in the subdivision. We haven't been provided information on how much water will be needed to support the subdivision. It will.
Just real quick, I think the applicant can answer, but when they say production decreased on that well, do you know, they tell you what it decreased to?
I don't know.
It tapers off pretty significantly. Right now it's, I don't know what the number would be, but it's not very high. We have to supplement.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's unclear if, how much water is needed to support the subdivision and whether wells would support the needs of each lot. Ag impacts have been addressed by the landowner. Right now, majority of this property is undeveloped irrigated cropland. They will have to control weeds per county weed and pest agreement. Obviously, there will be a reduction in available ag land due to development on these properties. However, it's not intended to impact nearby ag activities. Right to Farm and Ranch Act applies. Water rights. This parcel is located within Shoshone Irrigation District, has approved water distribution plan. The district administrator has said that, again, they will have to share a water association agreement with Cornerstone once that's approved. Utilities, we need to bring power to lots 1 and 2, so a subdivision improvements agreement will be required. An HOA will be required if maintenance of those irrigation facilities ends up being shared. No covenants are proposed. The subdivision is not within an overlay district. Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this sketch plan on August 18th of 2021. They recommended approval with some conditions. Several of those conditions have been met, including the requirement for a water distribution plan, the requirement for a long-term noxious weed management plan. The applicants will be required to submit a subdivision improvements agreement as mentioned. They requested notes on the plat for wells to comply with the state engineer's office requirements, a note for the Wyoming Right to Farm and Ranch Act, and at this time, we still do not have evidence of sufficient water quality or quantity, I should say. Approval standards, obviously you need to give attention to the arrangement of this property and what is proposed as far as the layout. Whether the natural terrain or anything would have any challenges for this particular development. Again, no hazardous conditions, no open spaces are proposed, schools or parks, no future road plans are foreseen. And we do have some recommended conditions for you to consider for approval. The typical easements language, and again, all of this is included on the staff report packet that you received, so I won't read everything, but number 1 is the typical easement statement that we made. Number 2, we ask that following approval of the sketch plan, that the applicant submit an appropriate subdivision improvements agreement for review and approval. Number 3, the applicant shall place the following note on the plat: any proposed water wells on these subdivision lots shall be created by the Wyoming State Engineer's Office prior to installation. Number 4, a homeowners association agreement will be required if the common maintenance of irrigation facilities is required. Number 5, the final plat shall contain a notice of the Wyoming Right to Farm and Ranch Act of 1991. And 6, the applicant shall otherwise comply with the county regulations. If this is approved, the next step for the applicants would obviously be to submit their subdivision improvements agreement so that we can move that forward, as well as their application for their final plat. And that's making sure that they have fulfilled all of your required conditions of approval should you approve this application. There's pictures at the end of this staff report if you'd like to see.
Yeah, quick question, go back to domestic water. There was a water sample taken from a nearby well, because at that point in time, there was no wells on the property.
Let me look at that address. I think it was on the property, 1099. Double check. It was on the property, lot 3.
It was lot 3 where the
Yeah.
sample was taken. Okay.
Sorry if I said nearby,
Yeah,
actually.
the wording in that was a little.
Yep, right here, it's at 1099, which is lot 3.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Commissioner?
Yes, explain to me the difference between a subdivision improvement agreement and HOA.
So a subdivision improvement agreement is basically a contract between you and the subdivider stating what improvements they need to do, how they need to execute those improvements, and then what is required once the improvements are done. An HOA is between the lot owners. So that's how they agree to maintain shared infrastructure.
Where I'm going with this is in the irrigation part of it, and staff requirement is an HOA.
If it's shared irrigation infrastructure.
Yes. So how do we, back to our original discussion, if we put these conditions, then we are taking responsibility of the irrigation district by requiring this as a condition in the either a subdivision improvement agreement or an HOA. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, using the scenario that you're saying the conditions have to be responsibility of the county, so. So if you're putting a condition in here that is requested by the irrigation district, then it is up to the county to follow up and make sure that this irrigation agreement and structures and everything, they have a master, water master and everything. Is that what I'm hearing as a condition? And I don't agree with this. Putting these conditions, putting the county in that responsibility
Sure.
of the irrigation district. It's policing for them.
So as far as the requirement for a homeowners association agreement, we claim in our rules that a homeowners association agreement is required if there are common facilities maintained by the lot owners. So that's our requirement. The subdivision improvements agreement would require addressing an irrigation system if an irrigation system is proposed. The thing I don't know is what does the planned irrigation system look like? So the irrigation district has stated that sprinkler irrigation will be required, but the means for delivering sprinkler irrigation to each lot has not been identified. I don't know if they need a common line or circuit that's going to serve each lot, or if they could each just draw from a ditch or something otherwise to serve those lots. So without, and obviously we'll have to talk to the applicants about that, but that's not clear. And we tried to get that clarification from the irrigation district, but in his latest response, he didn't really answer. our
Yeah, I have
question.
nothing personally against this or.
I understand.
But the discussion we were having prior to this, as far as responsibility of the county, anytime we place a condition or it was over a different issue, it led the responsibility and liability to the county. And this is kind of I'm not 100% where we are, but taking responsibility for the irrigation districts and or the subdividers or the subdivision owners in the water distribution plan. If we make that a condition, then are we liable? You know, like,
I don't think we are. What I see is our rules say we're gonna have they have to come to us with a subdivision improvements agreement. The only portion of that that is relative to the irrigation is there like if you're putting in a system, you have to say what the system is, and then that has to be done. As far as the irrigation districts, I don't think we're enforcing anything for the irrigation district. I don't feel that we are. I think what the subdivision improvement agreement addresses is infrastructure, not distribution.
But the HOA.
The HOA will deal with that.
Right, and we require the HOA is the comment, I think what you're getting at is.
But,
we
yeah,
require the
and if you-
HOA. And we do the same thing with a road maintenance agreement. Those are part of plats that we approve. A road maintenance agreement to me is an agreement between the landowners using the road in the subdivision that they will maintain it. Everybody will participate. This is the same type of thing in an HOA for irrigation structure is necessary.
Madam Chair, what you're saying is we can request a condition or make a condition for an HOA agreement, but we don't have any liability or responsibility to make sure that HOA agreement is followed.
That's,
Okay.
we're not part of that HOA.
Now, I'm gonna
agreement
use that
once
against
it's
you later.
done. I
Just
know you
saying.
will.
Yeah, and I think you need to realize that even though these covenants and agreements go into effect, they can be changed in a future date. So we have no control. We can just.
I understand.
Which I understand.
I'm gonna use it. You'll still know where I'm going. with it.
I know where you're going.
Okay, public hearing, is there any other public comment on this request for sketch plan? Others?
I'd like to say something, if I may.
Yes, and state your name, please, for the record.
My name is Nathan Robertson. I did consult with the licensed well driller here in Wyoming about the water situation on those lots, and he disclosed to me, looking at the USGS survey and whatnot, that there is water much deeper. He said around 327 feet in that section of land. It's just a lot, obviously, because of the depth. Nobody wants to drill that deep because it's so expensive. So in our estimation, I'd look at another $20,000 to put wells down that much deeper than the traditional. Most of those wells are, 60 to 100 feet neighborhood in that area. So while there is water there, it's just a lot harder to access, is what he informed me of.
Do you have any other type of plans for a solution for the water or?
The well we're on right now works really great most of the year. It's just this dry season, January, February, March, that we struggle a bit. And so we just supplement in that time frame with the cistern. So I mean, the options are there to put the cistern in to supplement if you need to, but obviously if you have the financial ability, you can drill deeper and have a much better producing well.
Madam Chair, we did reach out to Northwest Rural Water just as a curiosity to see if there is central water available to these properties. And at this time, that section of their system does not have the capacity to support any additional taps. So it could be 2024 before they could do something.
So, Madam Chair, so for a minor subdivision, we are not, the subdivider is not required to provide water. However, we can ask for a condition on the plat that it may require cisterns or west water wells or compression, and cisterns may be requested. Is that done at final, or is it done at get?
So I would recommend, since this is sketch plan, that you require a note on the plat addressing the potential for unavailability, lack of availability of water by wells, in which case cisterns may be required. That would be my recommendation.
At this time.
You would do it now, because the next step is final plat, and we would want them to already have that on the plat.
Anything else from public comment?
Public hearing.
Second.
Second, close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
You're already putting together a motion. Commissioner Gill.
What's that?
You were already putting the motion together. Yeah, I was waiting, I'm here waiting on it.
Madam Chair, I move to approve Emerald Minor Subdivision 62 sketch plan review with staff conditions, adding number 6, that water, domestic water is in question on the final plat and may require cisterns. Domestic water wells are, how would you prefer to work?
Domestic water may not be available
May not be
by
available
private wells,
by private wells.
so
Cisterns
cisterns
may
may
be required.
That's exactly what he wanted to say. I'll second that.
Good. Okay, then moved and seconded to approve as stated. Further discussion? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Not gonna be number 7.
It would actually be a 7th condition, not 6. I was on for.
Oh, it's 7. Our next public hearing is at 10:45.
Oh, I've been talking to the outfitter over there. He said it's still pretty slow. Yeah, I know, it's continue to be an armed trail ride.
Where we rank. Okay, next thing on our agenda, for planning and zoning is a public hearing for TriStar Cabins, SCP -221. So we have planning and zoning office staff, Patty and Jenny. Go ahead.
Thank you. We have before you a special use permit application. We received an application for special use permit on October 8th of 2021, including the plan view drawings for the location, the vicinity map, types of activities and impact on adjacent properties. The requested action is to operate a business building small cabins, greenhouses, and storage sheds for local customers. The business will operate in an existing 3,840 square foot building on the property where the applicant resides. The use classification is a cottage industry, which is a business located in the proprietor's home or out of the other building in the same parcel of the proprietor's home with no more than 5,000 square feet of building floor area devoted to the business and no more than 5 non-resident employees. Ownership is Herman Joe Stutzman and Cindy Stutzman. This use is located on an 88.55 acre parcel addressed as 254 County Lane 10.5 in Powell. Parcel is located approximately 5.25 miles southeast of Powell, and the proposed use is not within 1 mile of this municipality. It is located in the GRP zoning district, and cottage industry uses are permitted in the GRP zoning district, provided a special use permit is approved. Site characteristics: the proposed use will be located on a parcel that is relatively flat. There's currently a single-family residence located on the property, as well as a barn and the shop building intended to serve the proposed use. The ground cover near the area of the proposed use appears to be natural vegetation and farm ground. A gravel driveway will be used to access the proposed use, and parking will be gravel. Neighboring land uses of the proposed use are primarily agricultural. Property maintained by the Bureau of Rec is located approximately 0.7 miles to the southeast. In the project plan on figure 4, you'll see that it identifies the existing residence, the barn, and the structure used for the business. The plan also shows the existing driveway and indicates traffic pattern. A small parking area is shown at the end of the driveway, and the applicant proposes to have 2 family members as resident employees. Legal notices have been satisfied with notice of public hearing in the Powell Tribune on December 28th and January 11th. Written notices were mailed to owners of all properties within 660 feet of the subject property on December 23rd. And the staff report was provided to the applicant and to you, the Board of County Commissioners, prior to this public hearing. Agency referrals were sent out on November 18th, 2021. The Park County Fire District 1 stated they have the ability to provide fire protection to the proposed use. Game and Fish stated they have no wildcat life concerns regarding the permit. Weed and Pest stated that a long-term noxious weed management plan will not be required. However, they do recommend that the applicant adhere to the best management practices for preventing the spread of noxious weeds. Wheelwright Irrigation District stated this is not within their irrigation district boundaries. And you'll see a note there that the Elk Water Users Association, Fred Hopkin with the Elk Water Users Association, was in attendance at the December 15 meeting. And He stated that the owner pays an assessment tax, but where the applicant is developing will not have any impact on the irrigation infrastructure. Our county treasurer stated property taxes have been paid. Public Works stated there is legal access via County Main 10.5, and they don't anticipate the business to impact the roadway in a manner that would require a change in the classification of roadway. They also stated that a stormwater drainage and erosion control plan is not required. Your staff report says no public comments were received, but we have received one, and I'm thinking it probably came to you from Fred Hopkin in support. And he also had his comments about the water irrigation. Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this application on December 15th and recommended approval with conditions noted in their resolution. Those conditions have been met. You'll see that condition number 2 about needing a response from Public Works says not met. We have received that, so that condition has been met. Statement of compatibility. The applicant wishes to build small cabins, small greenhouses, and storage sheds for sale to the public. The structures will be built on an as-ordered basis, and all structures will be built inside the shop. No structures will be stored or displayed outside. Completed structures will be delivered off the property upon completion. The applicant proposes no outdoor light or disturbances by noise or dust, since the structures will be built indoors. Materials and supplies will also be stored inside the structure to minimize visual impacts. No new domestic water, sewage, or natural gas is proposed. Electricity to the structure is currently provided by Garland Light and Power. However, power for the use will be provided by solar energy located on the same parcel. The days of operation, days and hours, will be approximately 8 hours a day, possibly 6 days a week. The applicant and 2 family members that are residents will be the only employees. The applicants have the equipment necessary to deliver the materials to this location and to deliver the completed structures to the customers. And the applicant anticipates that customers will rarely need to visit the location. The structures meet the qualifications or the requirements for building setbacks. No covenants are proposed or exist. This property has no known non-conformities. No nuisances have been reported. A soils report is not required for the proposed use. Parking for non-resident use requires 1 parking space for each 400 square feet of floor area. However, no customer parking is required. The only parking necessary is for the applicant and the resident employees. So it appears that parking is adequate for this use. An existing septic system located in the residence will be used and is adequate to serve this use. No signs are proposed. Solid waste is available through private company. No specific criteria is identified for this use, and the use is located in an agricultural overlay district. Use will likely not have significant impact on area agricultural practices because all the materials and supplies and equipment will be stored indoors. The structures will also be constructed indoors. The applicant is aware of the agricultural practices occurring on neighboring properties, and the applicant will also be involved in agricultural production on this property. This use does not appear to be particularly vulnerable to area agricultural practices because everything is stored and built indoors. This use will not result in any land removed from agricultural production. A site plan review is generally required for cottage industry use. However, this project is exempt from the review because construction and the use area will not exceed 5,000 square feet of floor area, and the new development of the land does not exceed 1 acre in size. So we have some findings and conditions. I just want to point out that the condition recommended number 2 can possibly be removed because they have already submitted their review from Public Works. I can answer any questions you have.
This is a public hearing. Are there any questions for the commissioners?
Just a quick question. We were unsure about the Willwood irrigation district and it's in the Elk Level Canal District. Just, do we have a map that shows who does things like that? We don't
So
have
that we know which district it's in. Mr. Commissioner, we have our irrigation district overlaid on the computer, our GIS, but a lot of the smaller associations we don't have in there. So we don't know until we see it looks like it's in Willwood, for instance, and then they direct us to the smaller association.
Willwood irrigation have that?
I don't know, I can sure ask them. See if we can get something from her. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any public comment?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second, to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, with that.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve TriStar cabins AQP.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve proposal for TriStar cabins. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got off the hook, you bet.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, fast too.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Wait.
Glad I got that one out of the way.
We have a couple minutes to let you catch your breath and then we'll do the next one.
You can wait 4 minutes.
I'll give you a couple. Patty break.
Commissioner Livingston has taught me to speak very fast. Even though I may stumble over my words, I can.
Right.
Well, when I'm clicking on Park County homepage, I'm on Park County YouTube live stream, it's not coming up. Maybe that's something wrong.
Are we live?
Check with the real quick. Okay. I don't know if they're listening
Yeah.
or not.
Well, good to see you.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're only a minute or two off, so we'll bring up the next one, which is a public hearing for more custom cabinets, SUP 222.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We have a special use permit application for more custom cabinets. We received an application on October 18th that included the plan view drawings, showing the location, vicinity map, types of activities, and impact on adjacent properties. The requested use is to operate a business building custom cabinets and custom countertops for local residents. This business will operate in an approximately 2,500 square foot area of the applicant's shop residence. The applicant stated that all construction work and the storage of equipment materials will be contained inside his shop structure, and the applicant will reside on site. And to just insert, I've spoken to the applicant, and he said there's a possibility his used square footage may increase to 2,700 to 2,800 square feet, but that's not an amount large enough to change the classification. Which, speaking of the classification, is cottage industry. Again, it's a business located in a proprietor's home or out of other buildings on the same parcel as a proprietor's home, with not more than 5,000 square foot of building floor area devoted to the business and no more than 5 non-resident employees. Ownership is Wayne Lee Moore. The location of this parcel is on about a 40-acre parcel of land located approximately 4.5 miles northeast of Powell and just south of County Lane 5 and just west of County Road 6. This use is proposed in a GRP zoning district. Cottage industry uses are permitted in GRP zoning district, provided a special use permit is approved. Site characteristics: the property is currently vacant with native vegetation, and it slopes gently from east to west. There appears to be a creek that runs north to south, possibly flowing only seasonally along the west side of the parcel, but is not located near the proposed use. The applicant proposes to build a combination shop residence on this parcel that will house the proposed use. A gravel driveway will be used to access the proposed use from County Road 6. Parking will be gravel. Neighboring land uses to the west, south, and east of the proposed use are residential and residential vacant land. Bureau of Reclamation land borders the north property line. The applicant intends to build a 4-bedroom shop residence, and the work area will be approximately 2,500 square feet in the northeast part of the structure. His residence and personal storage area will utilize the remaining portion of the building. An in-ground septic system will be relocated on the north side of the structure. A driveway will access from County Road 6, and the floor plan for the business use and the applicant's residence are shown in figure 5. This use is not within 1 mile of municipality, therefore municipal review is not required. Notice of the public hearing and legal notices were met with a publication in the Powell Tribune on December 28th of 2021 and January 11th, 2022. Written notice was mailed to the landowners within 660 feet of the subject property on December 23rd. The staff report was sent to the applicant and to the Board of Commissioners prior to this public hearing. Agency referrals: we got a statement from Garland Light and Power that we have the capacity to provide electrical service to this use. TCT may have the availability and capacity of terrestrial wireless internet and VoIP phone service to this property. Montana Dakota Utility will have the availability to provide natural gas to serve this property by way of a 2-inch gas main located on the north side of Lane 5. Northwest Rural Water stated they currently provide water to this property and have sufficient capacity for the proposed use. Park County Fire District Number 1 stated they have the ability to provide fire protection. Park County Treasurer stated all taxes owed on this parcel have been paid. Game and Fish stated they have no wildlife comments regarding this permit. Park County Weed and Pest stated they completed their initial inspection and found the presence of Russian knapweed on a portion of the property. Therefore, they will require a long-term noxious weed management plan. Shoshone Irrigation District stated there are no water rights or district infrastructure on the property. Therefore, they see no reason to not proceed with the special use permit. Public Works identified access to this property via County Road 6 and County Lane 5. Public Works stated that the proposed access portion of Road 6 is not maintained by the county. They recommend the building plan be prepared or reviewed by a professional engineer. Also, a runoff and erosion control plan will be required, but a stormwater permit from DEQ is not required. We received one written public comment in support of this use. Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this application in December of 2021 and recommended approval of the following conditions. And you can see in your, I don't know if you want me to go through them, but all their conditions that they asked for have been met. There is number 5 requiring a long-term noxious weed plan that says condition not met. We have that application in our office now for the applicant to sign. So we would consider that condition met. Compatibility, the applicant will be constructing shop residence and will build custom cabinets and countertops using approximately 2,500 square feet of his future shop. The cabinets will be built on an as-ordered basis. All materials, trailers, equipment, and machinery associated with use will be stored inside the shop building. The applicant stated customers will rarely come to his shop because most of his interaction will be with customers at their residence or their future build site. The applicant stated there are no outdoor lights proposed or disturbances by noise and dust, since all the building will be indoors. The applicant proposes to use 2 non-resident employees, 1 full-time and 1 part-time. Days and hours of operation will be Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Setback requirements have been met. No covenants are proposed. Property has no non-conformities. No nuisances have been reported at this location, and a soils report is not required for the proposed use. Domestic water will be provided by Northwest Rural Water. Irrigation, this use is located within the Shoshone Irrigation District, and they responded and stated the parcel has no water rights and no irrigation district infrastructure is located on this property. Non-residential uses require 1 parking space for each 400 square feet of floor area. However, for this use, only employee parking is necessary. Customer parking is not required, therefore parking appears to be adequate. The applicant has submitted a subsurface evaluation for a proposed small wastewater system. A depth to groundwater cut did not encounter groundwater at a depth up to 7.5 feet. The applicant has sized the system for 5 bedrooms. The system will be available for use by the employees. The conventional septic system should be adequate to serve the residents and this use. No signs are proposed for this use. Solid waste disposal is available through private companies. No specific criteria has been identified. This use is not located within an overlay district. Site plan review is required for cottage industry. However, this project is exempt from review because the use will not exceed 5,000 square feet of floor area and no new development of the land will exceed an acre in size. We have findings for you and staff recommended conditions, which again, I'll point out that condition number 4 recommended has actually already been met. We have the application ready for signature in our office. Thank you.
This being a public hearing, is there any public comment? No public comment? Okay.
Madam Chair, I move to close public hearing.
Moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Part of the board.
Well, Madam Chair, looking at it, I don't have a problem with the SUP at all, other than trying to find a consistency question. in the conditions, we just right before this passed the SUP for building garden sheds and small cabins within a structure that was actually larger than the surface area used for this. And we did not require a professional engineer to check off on the structure. We also did not require a runoff and erosion control plan. So why are we requesting it in this case and not any other? They're both as rural as one of the each. In my opinion, location wise, they're rural as far out as everybody else. The fact that this structure is a shop home and one end of it is being used for custom cabinetry work, I don't believe Warren Saffron we don't enforce building codes in the county.
I've heard that.
I've heard of that. So I don't know, I don't understand why we're requiring it on this if we're not doing it on other SUPs, one in case point directly before this. So my recommendation to the board is approval with not using conditional 2 and 3. Unless we can answer those.
Okay, let's see what's happening.
Okay, thank you. That recommendation comes from Public Works. And I think they're feeling because the total structure is going to be well over 12,000 square feet, which for a residence, we would not normally require any kind of engineering review or anything. But since there is a use in this, I think that leads them to believe that the structure is that big. So they're recommending.
The entire structure. is
Yeah,
much
I'm
bigger
sure I understand. I read the recommendation for Public Works. However, because of the remaining structure is residence, I don't believe it should fall under the SUP of the business. My opinion.
I don't know how that works in the regulation, as far as being part residence, part business.
Well, you can have, Madam Chair, you can have a use in your, like a 1,200 square foot house and just use a bedroom for an office or something, or in your garage like the previous one without any kind of review. And I think it's just the fact that this is just such a large structure is what's being recommended.
Madam Chair, so the footprint of the structure is what's driving the requirement for the erosion stormwater.
And it is just a requirement, or I mean, a recommendation. So it's for use to.
I'm sure it's still my opinion that the 2,500 square foot on the very end of this structure that is being considered for the SUP, that does not exceed the 5,000 square foot area. And therefore, I don't believe that residence itself should fall under the requirement of a professional engineering code if we're not requiring it in other places. If this were a separate standalone with the breezeway in between, it wouldn't, if you're saying this wouldn't be here, this requirement would not exist.
Right, it would
If
be
it was connected with the breezeway.
Do you want to make a motion to what you believe?
Well, I sure will.
I can see what happens.
I'm sure I move to approve SUP more cabinet, custom cabinet, special use permit 222 with staff staff conditions 1, 3, and 5.
I'll second it.
So moved and seconded to approve the more custom cabinets SUP 222, including conditions only 1, 3, and 5.
Chair, though, you don't go looking at something different.
Yeah, I just make sure we're all on the same.
Yeah.
I can read 1, 3, and 5 if you'd like.
Yeah, because
So you wanna.
I want to include the same conditions that were required for star cabinets, and that is Park County noise lighting and nuisance regulations shall apply. Application shall submit to planning and zoning department along term notice week management prior to commencing use. And number 5, the applicant shall otherwise comply with standards of Park County development standards and regulations.
if you included number 3, I think you were wanting to omit number 3.
I did not, I'm sorry, correct.
And number 4, because it's been
1, 4, and 5. I stand corrected.
Well, we can omit number 4 because they've already done that.
They have.
So we're down to 1 and 5. Is that my understanding? That's what you want to include?
If 5 has already been, yes.
4 has.
4 has, 4 then is
And
already.
I'll agree with that.
Okay, so at this point, the motion would read and be seconded that we would only include staff recommendations. Number 1, Park County noise and lighting and other nuisance regulations shall apply. And number 5, the applicant shall otherwise comply with the standards of the Park County Development Standards and Regulations.
Yes, I got no problem.
Okay, any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, Brady.
Well-oiled machine.
You get in there.
I will, I think, yeah.
Pat, you're in view. Jody Lane is next.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. We will move on to our 11:15 public hearing, which is the Jody Lane minor subdivision 63 sketch plan.
Madam Chair, this is continuous, correct?
I don't believe we've heard this yet.
Please turn the.
Oh, that might be where it is.
So with that, planning and zoning staff, review.
Okay, Madam Chair, I'm here on behalf of Kim Billivan, who's absent today. We're here to review the minor subdivision application of Brett and Kathy Whitlock. We received their application on October 14th of 2021. We received a revised sketch plan on November 1st of 2021. The applicants are requesting approval of vacate and re-subdivide lot 2 of the Miller Civil Subdivision -33 into a 4-lot subdivision consisting of 2 5.09 acre lots and 2 5.1 acre lots, all of which are for residential use. Park County regulations are the 2015 Development Standards and Regulations. This subdivision is classified as a minor subdivision, not more than 5 lots, each being smaller than 35 acres. Ownership is confirmed by warranty deed of document number 2021-1699 to Brett C. Whitlock and Kathy K. Whitlock. This particular lot is again the Miller Civil Subdivision -33. The plat recorded at foot G of plats, page 174. This particular subdivision is approximately 10 miles southwest of the city of Cody, approximately 650 feet west of Jody Lane. Sketch plan is on figure 1. Figure 2 shows the location. The zoning district is GR5. The lot sizes proposed are consistent in that zoning district. Neighboring lands are predominantly residential with some ag uses to the south and southwest. There are several platted subdivisions nearby. Some of them are major subdivisions. You can see that in figure 3. Site characteristics, the topography is relatively flat. The existing lot is vacant irrigated farmland that slopes gently down from the south to the north. Municipal review is not required because this property is not within a mile of the municipality. Notice requirements have been met. Notice of intent to subdivide was published on October 7th, 2021 and October 14th, 2021 in the Palace Tribune as required. Planning Department published notice of public hearing for this hearing. The notice was put in the Cody Enterprise on December 28th of 2021 and January 11th, 2022. One of these notices was at least 14 days before this hearing. We also sent certified notice to all owners within 660 feet of the property on December 23rd, 2021. And you and the applicant received a copy of the staff report in advance of this hearing. Agency referrals, we contacted relevant agencies on October 26, 2021, and the applicant also notified some of the same agencies. Park County Fire District number 2 indicates that the property is within their boundaries and can provide fire protection, and they do require roads and water crossings to be built to the Park County Road and Bridge specifications. The Postal Service said they are able to deliver mail to any new addresses at this location. Placement in mailboxes will be determined at a later date. TCT says they have terrestrial wireless available in this area. They may be able to provide internet and voice over IP phone to this location, depending on line of sight to their towers. Cody Conservation District provided a soil report, basically said the dominant soil type is favorable for dwellings with or without basements and moderately favorable for septic tank absorption fields and sewage lagoons. A complete copy of that soils report is available in the Planning and Zoning Department. Park County School District number 6 says they will have bus service available. Wyoming Game and Fish had no comments and concerns pertaining aquatic resources. They did state they have concerns with the subdivision otherwise, primarily relating to dense deer populations and the high prevalence of chronic wasting disease in these populations. Park County Public Works has had quite a few letters to us regarding this subdivision, primarily addressing access. They have identified the required road improvements for this subdivision, as well as looking at construction drawings for that roadway, utilities, and drainage report. Public Works has granted a request for administrative relief on the road for this subdivision. I'll address that more here in a little bit. The Park County Treasurer has said property taxes are paid current on this property. Black Hills Energy has a gas line running along Patriot Lane to the north of this development. In order to provide gas service, they would need an easement to install approximately 600 feet of main extension to the proposed development. There is currently no gas main along Diamond Basin Road nor Jody Lane. Park County Weed and Pest indicated the presence of noxious weeds. As a result, a long-term noxious weed management plan will be required. Rocky Mountain Power has the capacity to provide electrical service to a proposed 4-lot subdivision. Providing electrical service may require rights of way and necessary permits. Lakeview Irrigation District has not responded. However, we will want to hear from them. Public comments. We have received at least 3 written public comments by folks expressing their objection to the administrative relief granted by Public Works on this particular project. Also, numerous members of the public attended the Planning and Zoning Commission's public hearings for this sketch plan review. P&Z did have a hearing. They continued that hearing, and so there are meeting minutes for 2 meetings and hearing recordings for 2 meetings available in my department. Submissions for the sketch plan review are complete. Pre-application meeting happened on September 16th of 2021. The fees were paid. We do have a title report. We did address that access will be coming off of Jody Lane. Jody Lane will need to be extended into the subdivision. There are 2 road maintenance agreements that we found for this particular road. One was dated June 2nd, 2010, and it's recorded in the Office of the Clerk and Recorder. And one was dated February 4th of 2020, and that one is not recorded that we've been able to find. Because common maintenance of the road is proposed, a homeowners association must be formed to address the terms of common maintenance for the extended portion of Jody Lane. Solid waste services are available. We will need to address bringing electricity to each lot. Doesn't look like gas service is going to be required due to the distance from the subdivision. There are no known hazards on this property. We do have a sketch plan which is complete. Wastewater requirements. Subsurface evaluation was completed on October 15th of 2021. Perk test data was collected for lots 1 and 4. The perk rates ranged from 13 to 16 minutes per inch. Didn't appear that there was groundwater found in the excavation cuts on lots 1 and 3 to a depth of 8 feet. Based upon this, it appears that conventional septic systems will likely be sufficient should the subdivision be approved and development occur. Domestic water requirements. They are proposing wells. Domestic water test was taken from a well located at 29 Jody Lane on October 5th, 2021. The analysis suggests that the water meets the Safe Drinking Water Act for no E. coli and no coliform bacteria. Total dissolved solids were detected below the maximum contaminant level. Nitrogen was detected below the maximum contaminant level. Lead, selenium, and arsenic were not detected. Chloride and sulfate were detected in the water sample below the maximum contaminants. These are secondary contaminants, so there's no real standards. If wells are chosen, they need to obviously meet the state engineer's office requirements upon installation. Addressing ag impacts, obviously this is irrigated farmland, so there will be a reduction in farmland available once development occurs. The applicants have been asked to address pests, domestic pet disturbances, anything on their properties in their covenants. That was a request by the Planning and Zoning Commission to ensure that they are adequately making sure that these new developments will not impact the nearby agricultural activities like pets impacting livestock and things like that. The applicant has proposed to place a fence to help keep livestock out of the subdivision and to try to keep domestic animals out of the ag areas. The parcel is located in an ag overlay district and impacts to ag have been addressed. Water rights. Again, this property is in Lakeview Irrigation District. They have been notified. We have not yet heard about a water distribution plan. No stream or river passes within or adjacent to the subdivision. And state review is not required for water rights. Utilities, Rocky Mountain Power can provide power. We're going to need to have that extended to all the lots as mentioned earlier. So subdivision improvements agreement will be required. Lot standards have been met. An HOA will be required to address any shared improvements as well as the road. There are no sidewalk, street lighting, alleys, or open spaces proposed, and additional design and improvement standards will apply. We need to address the ag overlay. Again, we did mention the impacts to ag previously and potential impacts on ag to this subdivision, vice versa. Residential uses proposed for all of these lots. Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this application on November 17th, 2021, continuing that hearing to December 15th, 2021. And they did recommend approval with conditions. Most of those conditions have been met, including the long-term noxious weed management plan has been approved and submitted. A draft subdivision improvements agreement will be required at the time of final plat application. The applicants are advised to address the domestic pets, trash, and livestock in their covenants. We do require an HOA prior to final plat review. We do need the applicants to place a note on the final plat for dedication of the road, whether it continues to go public or private. They also shall place a note on the plat regarding the permitting of wells by the Wyoming State Engineer's Office. They will require a response from Lakeview Irrigation District prior to final plat. They need notice of the right to farm and ranch act on the final plat, and they shall otherwise comply with the standards of our development regulations. You do have approval standards to consider for this subdivision. We provided you a summary of findings, which were all presented in the staff report, and we have the following recommended conditions should you approve. Before I mention those conditions, I will say that I would recommend you consider continuance of this public hearing, either to a time and date certain or to a time and date uncertain, depending upon your decision of the appeal hearing on administrative relief. As you know, that hearing is set for February 1st. Your decision on that administrative relief could impact the requirements for the layout of the subdivision lots, which potentially would impact that final plat and subdivision agreements that are required under the SIA. So if you do opt for approval, we do have some recommended conditions. Our standard easement condition would be number 1. Number 2, the applicant shall comply with the recommendations of Wyoming Game and Fish. Number 3, the applicant shall comply with the recommendations set forth by Public Works for road construction, signage, naming and maintenance, as well as providing a runoff and erosion control plan. Number 4, the applicant shall provide a long-term noxious weed management plan. I believe that's already been met, so that may go away. The applicant shall provide a review and recommendations from Lakeview Irrigation District regarding their water distribution plan. Number 6, the applicant shall submit covenants that address domestic pets, trash, and livestock at a minimum, and a homeowners association agreement addressing all shared improvements at a minimum to our department before final plat recording. Number 7, the applicant shall provide a draft subdivisions improvement agreement with their final plat application. Number 8, the applicant shall place the appropriate dedication of roads and easement statement on the final plat according to appendix 7 of our regulations. Number 9, the applicant shall place a note on the plat stating that any proposed water wells on the subdivision lot shall be permitted by the state engineer's office. Number 10, the final plat shall contain a notice of the Wyoming Right to Farm and Ranch Act of 1991. And of course, the applicant shall otherwise comply with our standards. Should you approve this sketch plan today, the applicant will be required to meet all of the conditions of your approval, and then they would move on to submit their final plat application, which would include their subdivision improvements agreement for consideration. There are pictures at the end of the staff report for your consideration, and it is your questions.
Joy, this is just a procedural question, but do you recommend, and you recommend the public hearing be continued, or is that because the appeals would be new information that would be received and considered publicly? Or can we close public hearing and wait for a decision until after the appeals? Are you tracking what I'm asking?
I understand. I guess I would leave it to your discretion how you think that could roll out. Again, your decision on administrative relief could impact lot layout, or it could impact the conditions of the subdivision improvement agreement. So I wouldn't want them to submit those items without that decision. However, you could also condition approval on that outcome. I just think that might be a little difficult.
Any other questions for the commission at this time? With that, I'll ask for comments from the public. I would ask that if you do have comments, you rise and state your name for the record. Are there any public comments at this time? We do know that we have the appeals that we've received. We've received 3. Those are on the schedule for February 1st. We will hear those appeals on the. Are there any other comments at this time? Yes, sir.
Yeah, Russ Whitlock. I would like to see the commission wait until after the appeals, so that we all know that all information has been considered and discussed before we move forward with any decisions. Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay.
Madam Chair, I'm going to make a motion that we continue this public hearing, but we're going to need a date and time and in order in my motion. What our appeals,
They're on February 1st.
February 1st, so we should extend this to the 15th. Is that, am I hitting the date right? I can't read.
February, be the 15th, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you have a chunk of time that's available on the 15th that would work well, probably an hour.
Yeah, 15th.
What time? But we need a specific time.
I think we have something at 9:35.
Okay, so Madam Chair, I make a motion to extend to continue the public hearing to February 15th, 2022 at 10 a.m.
Second.
So moved and seconded to continue the public hearing on Jody Lane under subdivision sketch plan to February 15th at 10 a.m. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. So as we said, we will be hearing the appeals on February 1st, and then we will come back on the 15th. for the sketch plan.
Yes.
Traffic. On that continuation. Discuss further some of the other conditions.
Yes. Yeah. Have time to look at those. Thank you.
Thank you. I have questions.
And they,
Condition 6 and 7.
Mr. Bales,
That's basically, sorry about the agenda, guys, but that's been until 1:15.
That means we can,
That happens when you have a lot of public here.
and expecting public comment when there's none arises. That was my fault. I should have, this morning, I should have let you know that when we're contemplating a continuance, go ahead and just